Okay, so yeah, another Attack on Titan one. I brought out the jacket again. And we got, Chewie slash Zeke over here, and Stuffle slash Astoria, and I do have the chain belt thing wrapped around them to represent the first King of the Walls curse, will, whatever you want to call it. The one that I said was a coward in the previous video for Attack on Titan. This one is just going to be some of the theories that I've had. I may have seen these somewhere else in regards to, or my take on them in regards to how to break that first king's will. The first one up is of course, the non-royal founder idea, which is basically what happens in the manga and in the anime, where it's, you have someone of non-royal blood be the possessor of the founding titan. In the case of the series, of course, this ends up being, well, Grisha for a short time, but then Eren. Um, and then you have them work alongside someone who is of royal blood. So in the case of the series, it ends up being Zeke, of course, but Historia probably would have worked as well. But Eren didn't want to put Historia in danger because she was one of his friends, even though he ended up basically like, well, I'm going to destroy the world and I'm going to give my friends free will to choose if they want to stop me, but I'm not exactly going to make it easy for them. I'm like, sure, yeah, Um, I just spent like the last 3 days like reading through the rest of the chapters in between like the end of the final season part one and the rest of the manga, including the extra pages ending, of course, to the final chapter that were released a couple of days ago. So I mean, like, I knew how the original version of the final two chapters went, and I'd read those, and I've seen some videos about them. Now I've actually read through them myself to understand the full context of everything that happens. In regards to, okay, yeah, Falco can fly with his, Jaw Titan form. That was messed up with how that happened. Yeah, no, I feel sorry for Falco. He didn't deserve that. But, it's unfortunately something that did happen. But of course, him and Gabby get to be happy in the end. So as I said, the first idea for, how to bypass the first king's curse is, have someone of non-royal blood have the founder, and then have someone of royal blood, aka in this case it was going to be Eren with the founding titan of non-royal blood, and Zeke, who has royal blood, of course. He also has the beast titan, of course, but in this case I don't necessarily think that that's 100% necessary for this cause. It could have just been Historia could have done it and just have her be the one that, helps Eren activate the rumbling, but he didn't want Historia to be tied up in that. Which I understand. He didn't want to put her in danger, and then of course there's the whole side theory that like Historia's child is Eren's child, but I'm like, I don't know if there would have been any. Well, I guess there's always that possibility. At least Historia seemed to be somewhat supportive of Eren's idea from the conversation I saw them have near the in the flashbacks in the end of the manga that he has with her. And so there's that slight possibility there, but I more put it towards this. It's probably not his child. It's probably, the farmer's child that's with her. Um, from the looks of things. But so we have that, and we have Zeke wants to use Eren to activate he wants to use Eren under the guise of, he's telling him, well, we'll use it to activate the rumbling to show the rest of the world what Paradise is still capable of. But of course, Zeke just wants to use it as a way of being able to get to, Amir Fritz, and then use her to, euthanize the euthanization plan. For the Eldians, so that way they can no longer have any more children. Another reason why I don't think Eren would be particularly happy about this concept is, if it did activate while any of the current Eldian women are pregnant, it may result in those babies then being aborted, which I don't think Eren wants to do that, but then again, he did just, slaughter 80% of the world's population. So yeah, there's a bit of a difference there. Yeah, that's fun. But of course, Zeke wants to use that for that plan, and of course, Eren bypasses that to, go after Ymir and have her, activate the rumbling instead. well, convinces her to give him her power to then activate the rumbling, which then results in giant, weird centipede skeleton Aaron thing with thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of colossal titans just stomping everything in their path, which that was not fun to watch, fun to read. I mean, I get that Aaron is, kind of more focused on moving forward, and I think that is kind of being a little bit influenced by the Attack Titan, but being kind of pushed to go forward by, of course, his own memories of being the Attack Titan that are still there because he was the Attack Titan, because you can kind of see the future, and him indiscriminately just killing everything. Former comrades, enemies, innocents, again, could have been a better thing that could have been done. That would have been a lot less freaking violent, and blood lusty. But of course, Zeke bypasses the whole, the first king's or the 145th king's will by, because when we see him in the land of the past, when him and Aaron are talking, when Aaron and him first get there, Aaron's like, well, I've been, Zeke's like, well, it's been ages since we got here, but it seems like no time has passed is all. And we see him sitting there, and he's got this collar around his neck and these chains holding onto him, that kind of force him to stay in one place. Which is, I'm assuming those are supposed to be a representation of the 145th King's will, or that part of the curse, as I explained in the previous video, that prevents any of royal blood from, doing something like attacking the outside world, doing the rumbling or anything along those lines. It prevents them from doing that because it forces them to have the ideology of pacifism, and that we should be punished for everything. Admittedly, I think Zeke does kind of agree with the fact that the Eldians should be punished for what their ancestors did, but his is also being, twisted by the whole thing of, well, if we'd never been born in the first place, then we wouldn't have had to suffer. And then, of course, later on in the chapters, we have him and Armin have the conversation where Armin's like, I wasn't born to do great things. I was born to have, small moments. Running with Mikasa and Aaron, racing with them to the tree, or feeding a squirrel, or just, when they would have fun with the rest of the scout regiment when they were training, or even in the last 4 years and such like that. And then, of course, Zeke is, he thinks back to, to Tom, to the Doctor, not Doctor Who, or I have TARDIS in the background now, but, Tom Baker, Doctor Who, yeah, Tom the Doctor, no, no. Dr. Xavier, who is, Tom or Zeke's kind of surrogate father after Grisha and Dina had kind of been exiled. We, of course, have, Zeke decided that, it would just be better if none of us had ever been born in the first place. So he's like, well, I'm just going to get a hold of the founding Titan or via plan, and then, activate this euthanization plan that I have, since Ymir can affect all of the, all of the Eldians all at the same time. And then I can, and then we'll have this euthanization plan, and the current generation of children that are around now will be the final generation. And, we can still pass down the Attack Titan and pass down the rest of the Titans, but of course, at some point, you're just going to have only old men and old women sitting around, and of course, that's when the rest of the world will just come and attack. Even with the threat of the rumbling, they just need to, kind of time it out to wait enough time, and just wait until all the people that would then possess the Titans, because even if they die, it's not like the Titans can be reborn in another Eldian somewhere. I don't, the plan has merits, but it's not the, not be the correct answer to the problem. But of course, Zeke bypasses that, and he's able to bypasses the curse by the fact that he's not the one with the founding titan inside of him, and then he's able to, break the chains that are on him, and then he orders Amir to activate the euthanization plan, and then of course, Aaron gets chains on him, but he doesn't break the chains, but he like rips off his own thumbs to get off the chain, to get out of the chains, and then he does the whole speech to Amir while he's holding on to her. You're not a god, you're not a demon, you're human, you're just a girl that's been the slave for so long. And of course we get her whole flashback and everything before that. And then of course in the extra pages for the final chapter, we see that she had been in love with Carl Fritz, but it had also, I would say that she didn't actually know what love was. She thought that she was in love with Carl Fritz, and of course in the extra pages we learned from Mikasa that Amir has been like watching through Mikasa's eyes. And of course with the mere fact that both Levi and Mikasa have been able to be in the land of the past, the world of the past, when Aaron would communicate to all of them, all the Eldians, when he warned them that he was going to activate the rumbling, and then when he warned the rest of them on the ship of don't come and do this, don't just turn around, go home, you can't stop me, you can't change my mind, that then they'd be able to that he could talk to Levi and Mikasa at the same time, because even though they are Ackermans, and Mikasa is half Asamabito, half of the Asian clan, they still have Eldian blood in them, because technically the Ackermans were Eldians that were experimented on, and even by that logic, Mikasa's grandmother or grandfather on her father's side would have had to have been an Eldian. Same thing with Zeke's, or with Levi. Levi's father would have had to have been an Eldian, and his mother was an Ackerman, of course. So we have that moment there that does show that even though Aaron may not necessarily be able to 100% manipulate their memories, they can still go to the land of the past. They probably can't become Titans, but they are still, by technicality, Eldians. But of course, Zeke bypasses the curse that the first king's will, the 145th king's will, whichever you want to refer to it as, and uses that to break that, and orders Amir to do that, which by technicality, I would think that since that's technically not the Eldians fighting back, I would put that as Amir may have done it anyway, as a order from a royal family. The second one that I had thought of in regards to a way to, break the curse is one that has the founding titan, a royal with the founding titan that has a stronger will than the first king, than the 145th king. And in that case, it would more fall to the fact of, over the course of the past several generations, that because we kind of have a rough idea of how many founding titans there have been since then, because of course of royal blood, because we take out Aaron and Grisha in this case because they are not of royal blood. There was Frida, there was Yuri, and I think I mispronounced his name all the time, but with him we have Rod and Yuri's father, and then of course we have just however many back until it got to Carl Fritz, and then Carl Fritz had passed it down to his son or daughter that they had used to have the line for the Reese family, and then he has the fake Fritz family with the fake king in charge there as this puppet figure. The highest ranking royals and the highest ranking military, particularly those that are in the MP brigade, know that the Reese family are actually the ones that are in control, and that Rod Reese is actually the one, by technicality, for that whole time frame in between when Frida died and when they were trying to get Historia to be the new Titan, because Rod was a freaking coward. Admittedly, him turning into the giant, abnormal, freaking monstrous, oversized Titan was not a good thing. Admittedly, we don't know if that was a combination of the fact that he had royal blood and he literally licked the serum for transformation off the floor, which was stupid, as opposed to injecting it. Since we haven't seen anybody else do that yet, or we're unaware of anybody else that has done that, it may be something where it's, oh yeah, no, they will definitely now have that power. And usually, of course, if you're someone who's trying to, if you're, if you're someone who's trying to take the power of any of the Titan shifters, you're already in Titan form when you eat them. We saw this with, Grisha changed Eren into a pure Titan to have Eren then eat him to obtain those powers. They turned Armin into a Titan and had him eat, Bertolt, or it could have been Erwin, but they had it be Armin that was selected. We have that. We have, it's the ceremony is, Frida got changed into Titan and then she ate her own uncle. Same thing that had happened with, Yuri did that with his and Rod's father. And then, of course, Rod wanted to have Historia do the same thing to Eren. He wanted to have her, inject herself with the serum and then turn into a pure Titan and then eat Eren, so that way they could then regain the power of the founding Titan in their family, because Rod was a freaking coward and he could have just easily done it himself. But he wanted to make Historia do it because he was too much of a coward. I'm like, you're gonna die anyway, dude. It's like, it's either you die, you take the founding Titan yourself, and then you use that to, still have memories of your family, of your, of Frida and the rest of your children and your wife and everything. And you get the chance to see your brother again and stuff like that, and you have those memories. Or you force your daughter / trick your daughter into doing it because you're too much of a coward. But that's a different story. Same story, different issue. But of course, the having someone of royal blood that has a stronger will be the one to inherit the Titan. And of course, the two options that we have on the table at the moment are Historia or Zeke. And I wouldn't put Zeke as having a strong enough will to be able to do that, because he is resigned to the fact that he is going to die. He is resigned to the fact that he wants to just basically wipe out the rest of the Eldians, and that within like the next 10 years or so, depending on how long the last Eldian children live, that, Eldia, all the Eldians will be dead because of his plan, because they can't reproduce anymore. And, one by one, the Titan shifters will die off, and they won't be able to, the power won't be passed down anymore or reincarnated anymore inside of the, the next Eldian child born somewhere in the world. Which, it's like, you send your Titan, it's like the Marleyans send the Titans into battle. They send Zeke and, Reiner and Peak and Galliard into battle. And before that, of course, it was, they'd sent, Renner, of course, but like Bertolt and Annie into battle and everything, and Marcel, and any of the other previous Titan shifters that they'd had in the warrior programs, they'd sent them into battle, and yet, it's just like, yeah. I mean, like before it was, it was like they didn't have the right military stuff to be able to, the enemies didn't have the military capabilities of being able to actually harm the Titans. For the most part. But then, of course, now, as we saw in at the beginning of season 4, we saw that, oh no, these other countries have developed anti-Titan weapons. They have missiles or cannons that have the ability to pierce Titan skin and actually cause damage to them. And if by chance Zeke or Reiner or any of the others that had the Titan shifter powers had died in, that battle when they were trying to get Fort Salta, then they would have, then those powers would have been, transferred to some other random Eldian baby somewhere in the world. Maybe Historia's baby, maybe whatever other baby, of Eldian descent got born into the world in that time frame. And then, of course, would the Marleyans would have been like, okay, we got to go and find this baby. We got to go and find this next baby somewhere in the world. Send, go into every single internment camp, and every single baby that was born after, this time frame, this minute, this hour, this date, and, go and find those babies, and then, take them from their mothers and their parents, and then bring them, and then we'll raise them. And then when we find out, we'll figure out which one has the new armored or the new beast titan or the new, jaw titan or the new cart titan or whatever, and then we'll raise them to be 100% loyal to us. And we'll still give their family the benefit of, they can become the warrior family, and their family can, still have better treatment, and among the Eldians. But it's like, and then what, raise the kid, or just feed it to whoever you're like, what, feed the kid to Porco, or feed the kid to, or not Porco, feed the kid to what, Grice, to Falco or Gabby or Colt or whoever else. That's gonna be a lot weighing on their minds. Yeah. Or the baby could have been, born on the island on Paradise, and then, the rest of the, they wouldn't have known where the baby was. I mean, maybe Aaron would have been able to be like, use the pass to like track where the baby was. Like, say, okay, Historia, I need you to hold my hand for like 2 seconds. Okay, no, the baby is that way in Shiganshina, or yeah, Shiganshina, yeah. No, the baby's in Trost, or like wherever else. Again, I'm going off topic. Sorry. But his, out of all the, the other royal is Historia, and I would say that she has a stronger will than Zeke at the very least, in the fact that she, her father's like, well, you can see your sister again, you can try to use this power against, the Titans, you can blah, 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 blah. And she literally saw through his, she almost did it. She almost, injected herself and, turned into the Titan, and then, would have eaten Aaron and everything. And Aaron was 100%, it was like 110% ready to be eaten by Historia, even basically saying, no, no, I took this power from your family. My father did these horrible things. Yes, take it back. But, Historia doesn't. She, she defies her father. She, goes against that whole concept of, I wanted my father to love me. I didn't want him to hate me. He was, all I'd wanted my whole life was for people to love me. I had wanted my mother to love me. I had wanted my father to love me. I wanted to die in the Survey Corps, either in training, like what we saw on the mountain with her and Ymir, or, die in regards to, going after Titans and everything. That's why she joined the Scouts, because she was kind of a little bit like Aaron, a little bit of a suicidal maniac. She's like, well, if I'm going to die anyway, I might as well at least die trying to, have it that everybody loves me. And, that's why she was nice to Sasha. I mean, she could have just stolen the bread for Sasha anyway, regardless of whether or not it was like her Krista, little perfect girl persona, or she was just honestly like, well, she didn't get to eat, so I should give her food. And then, of course, we show Historia's kind of starting to change when, she's around Ymir. She wants to go off with Ymir. She just wanted to have, Ymir from the Corps, is not, Ymir, the founding Titan. I kind of thought it would have been nice if, like, Aaron had made a reference to the fact that Ymir had also looked through Historia's eyes and seen what, real love was there when it came to Ymir, when it came to the, the Survey Corps Ymir, when it came to seeing how much she actually cared about her friends, when it came to the fact that she was willing to defy, 100 years, thousands, 1700 years, 1800 years or so of, the royal family, like, oh, okay, well, it's time to pass down the power because the person that currently has it is about to die, and I'm just going to take the power by turning into it, I'm going to inject myself, or whatever the case was, however they did it in the past, before they had, injection capability, and then, eat them as, turn into a Titan and eat them, and then I gain the power, and then I'm the new king of the new king of the Eldians, and then I can, make the other Eldians do as I wish. And then we have, going alongside that, in the extra pages for the final chapter, we see that, kind of, I guess maybe a slight glimpse of like an alternate history of what could have been had Ymir chosen to not take the spear for Carl Fritz and, let the spear hit him and kill him, and then she just would have her daughters. She would have, Maria, Rose, and Sheena. Have her three daughters, her three treasures. And even though they came from technically a loveless relationship where it was just Fritz using her, and would have, just forced her daughters to then eat her had she died to gain, Ymir's power, and to then continue that power down the line, and forced his daughters to do the same thing as their mother, um, that, she may have tried something different. There could have been like an alternate history there. And I'm aware that there's a lot of fan fiction that's going up right now with the extra pages in mind, or had Ymir Fritz decided to, no, screw Carl Fritz. She like wandered her way back into the camp, and and then just like squashed him. It's like, looked at everyone. Is anybody going to object to the fact that I just did this? All the rest of the slaves. The rest of the military drops weapons, bows. I know that there's a lot of fanfic that's coming out with fanfics that are coming out with that concept, or like where Aaron travels back in time, or like something else happens that like gives Ymir the ability to defeat Carl Fritz and knock him down, and then she kind of becomes the new leader of the Eldians. In some cases, she does a much better job. She forms alliances with like the Marleyans, and forms alliances with like the what would become Hizuru later on, or the other countries, and that things are better. Yeah, the Nine Titans still exist, but they were, passed down through specific families, not forcibly passed down. I've been reading Attack on Titan fan fiction for a couple of weeks now since I started watching these, and I find them interesting depending on the circumstances. The other one that I thought of in regards to the royal blood is someone of royal blood and Ackerman blood descent, that would then possess the founding Titan. And this case would imply that like the concept would be that like Historia's child would be like Levi's child, which Levi, I think, has developed a little bit more respect for Historia, particularly after she decided it was like, no, I am gonna punch him, and then she like punches him, and like it doesn't do anything, but like Levi still laughs, and he still seems pretty supportive of her, and I'm pretty sure he's like one of the people that has like gone and visited her on the farm, and had Gabby and Falco taken there, and let Historia meet them, and by the way, the way that it's implied from like the final chapter is that like all the rest of the rest of the warriors and the shifters and the former shifters and such, that are like now going to be ambassadors, it seems to imply that like they haven't been back to Paradise in those 3 years. I'm pretty sure they have, because Connie would have wanted to go and see his mother, most definitely. John and the rest of whatever family he still had would have been there. They would have wanted to go to make sure that like Sasha's family and Niccolo survived. That type of thing. Reiner would have wanted to go see Historia again because Reiner. And like we have those moments and such, and like they would have wanted to go and see anybody else that was still around, give a memorial to Commander Shadas and Pixis and the rest of them that had died, that were trying to do the right thing. That they would have wanted to have gone back and done that, go back and visit Mikasa after she makes her way back there and, buries Eren. And of course we get in the extra pages where it goes forward that like, yeah, I know they've come and visited, and it seems like Mikasa may have ended up with Jean, and they had a child. And, then of course there's a whole, the tree grew around Eren's grave, and yeah. But yeah, having a descendant of royal blood and Ackerman blood, and like having that heir have their Ackerman blood awakened, so they already have that kind of like slight immunity, I guess, to being you know, being, maybe not necessarily being turned into a Titan, because I think Isayama did say in like an interview when someone asked him about that, he said, well, they would have the powers of both, of royal blood and Ackerman blood, so that would imply that they would have the, you know, the Ackerman's, you know, killing ability, and you know, being a royal, giving them the ability to still activate the founding Titan's power if they are the one that inherited it, or the one that you know, like touches someone, like touched Eren or whoever else. They would have passed down the you know, the founding Titan to, had that actually um, become the case. Like, you know, that whole cycle would have continued, where like they would have had to have found someone within the you know, find someone within the you know, within Paradise, within, you know, the Eldian Empire, that was, you know, kid or a teenager, so that they would have deemed worthy of being able to inherit the Attack Titan and then pass it down that way. You know, they were gonna have Historia, you know, devour Zeke and everything, and so that way they could keep passing down the Beast Titan power. And then, you know, Historia would have, you know, telling I was like, well, Historia can have the power, and then she's just gonna have to spend the rest of her life popping out babies like every 9 or 10 months and such, just to keep, you know, keep the royal blood going, even though, you know, it's like Zeke's like, well, I'm actually just gonna euthanize all of you, so it doesn't matter if she's gonna keep having kids or not, or even if she agreed to that part of the plan. It was all just a ploy for me to be able to get to Eren. So yeah, we have those moments. And then the final one that I had kind of thought of in regards to that, and if you have comments on these, please leave them in the section, you know, in the comments section, to see like, well, this would have been wrong, or that would have been wrong, or maybe that would have worked, or maybe that would have worked. As I said, I don't know every single little bit about like Attack on Titan, where it's like, oh, they've explained this, and oh, they've explained this, or even Isayama has come out and said this, or someone else has pointed out this. If I have something wrong, just let me know. Let me know if I, you know, misquoted something or got something, you know, way wrong out of context of the story. Let me know. I don't mind if people, you know, politely explain that. If you're just going to be rude about it, then don't bother. But, you know, if you're going to politely explain to me, oh, no, this part was actually this, or no, this actually happened here, or no, they already kind of disproved this, then go for it. The last one that I had is having like, where all of the 9 Titan shifters, where all the 9 Titans are all brought back into the same entity. Admittedly, this would involve a lot of people dying. And then, of course, the thought behind this would be, okay, would the person that has like all of them back together have to be royal blood? Like, would it have had to have been Historia, or would it have had to have been Zeke? Or would it have worked better if it was someone of non-royal blood, so they can still kind of get around that curse, but then have someone of like royal blood eat them? You know, then have Historia turn into a Titan, like after like Eren, you know, in the manga at the end, you know, Eren possesses 3 of the Titans. He possesses the Founding Titan, the Attack Titan, and the Warhammer Titan. And, you know, he could have very easily at one point, you know, during his, you know, various battles and everything, just simply like, Armin, Reiner, Annie, Falco, Zeke, you know, just like gobbled the rest of them down. You know, Peak and everything, you know, just like gobbled the rest of them down, and then had all 9 Titan powers inside of his body. I mean, you know, in the battle, we have it where they're all trying to attack like the centipede part of him, that's, you know, his giant spine rib cage thing, where it's like all the different Titan shifters through the ages are like popping out. And I do admit, I'm going to be very interested to see how they animate that in the anime. How they're going to shift, you know, they're going to show all these different variations of all these different Titans over the years, or it's just like, oh no, this one is this way, and oh no, this one's this way, and oh no, this one has this color scheme, and, you know, and then they have to chase the one that's like the Okapi, the pig thing, and they're like, no, it's actually a real animal. And I'm like, I've had this conversation, I think, before, where it's like, yes, an Okapi is a real animal. This is an Okapi. But, like, of course, we have, like, that moment there, but, you know, it's like, if it had been Eren, like, had gobbled up every single one of them, and then, like, I don't know, I guess even like if he hadn't been in that battle, if like he had like gobbled up the rest of the, I mean, like, or one of the others had gobbled up the rest of them, eaten them, either, pulled them out of the nape of the neck in their Titan form and then eaten them that way, or just, willingly. It's like, well, it's like they all get to the end of their time, or as they get to the end of their time, Historia just like individually gobbles them all up, um, and then, then inherits all of their power, and then maybe having all of those powers together in one thing again would have resulted in her being able to, break the first king's curse, and then have them say, okay, I possess all 9 Titan powers. Slice off my head, and then all this will be done. Type thing, kind of like the way that Mikasa had to kill Eren. The centipede thing was attached to Eren at the time, and then they detached it, and I really hope that thing's gone, because that thing was creepy, and disturbing on multiple levels. Yeah. I'm sure I missed something in there in regards to, oh, well, they've disproved this, or, well, somebody else did this video, and I'm sure other people have made videos in regards to some of these topics. I'm not claiming at all to be the first one to do that type of a video, not by any means. I'm sure a lot of the videos that I've done on here, although I was trying to think if it was like, I'm sure that there's someone out there that has done like a rabbit fruit, like what I did back for Easter, or the other people that have done like, Mother's Day things for One Piece, or like I'm going to do the rest of like I did Brother's Day a couple of weeks ago, and then of course I'll do Father's Day and Sister's Day, and then Grandparents' Day throughout the year. And I might just retroactively, as I said, I might go back and just do like a video where I talk about like the different canon couples, like Baby 5 and Sai, and Senor Pink and Rushin and such. Go back and do those at some point, for like the canon couples in One Piece, just like a retro one about that, since I missed Valentine's Day for that. I think that's about all that I have for this video. Yeah, those are just my, the 4 kind of ideas that I thought of for like, the canon one is, you have a non-royal, have the founder, and then have a royal activated that way. Or, find someone with a stronger will, that even, like they like Zeke, like put Historia like in that position, and that she uses, she has a stronger will and is able to break that chain and free herself from that. Or, the royal blood, Ackerman blood kind of goes into the stronger will type of a thing. Or, then having the all 9 Titan shifters in one being, possibly of royal blood, and then having that be the ability to destroy it, and then ask Ymir in her, kind of her caretaker form, is there a way to end this that's not the rumbling, to just stop all of this, to just, stop us from becoming Titans, turn back the ones that have been turned into Titans, that type of thing. Admittedly, I don't think Historia would have been able to bring herself to kill, Armin and Zeke and the rest of them by devouring them. I don't see that in Historia's nature. She may, she's like, so I'm not humanity's enemy, or I am humanity's enemy, but I'm, Eren's friend type of a thing. And that friendship seems to have persisted, where it seems like Historia was kind of supportive of what Eren was doing in regards to going up against, the Marleyans. So that's what I have for this video. I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a nice rest of your day. And as I said, if you think of something that I missed in the video, in regards to, they could have done this concept, or they could have tried this, please comment. I will read the comments as much as I can. Thank you to everyone who has commented so far in any of the videos. I thank you very much, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye. I may be humanity's enemy, but I'm your friend, Eren. I can't be a good girl, and I don't want to be a god. But when I see someone crying, saying no one needs them, I want to tell them it's not true.